State-level efforts to reform the U.S. bail system are posing a formidable threat to the surety market's bail bond system. Premium declines reported for the sector in 2017 are detailed in a new Best Special report titled, "Was 2017 the tipping point for the bail bond industry?" Here to discuss the report and its implications is one of its main authors, senior industry analyst David Blades. So David, was 2017 in fact a tipping point for the sector?
Well, I definitely feel it's fair to ask that question, John, and I feel in a very short period of time we'll be able to identify whether 2017 was indeed the tipping point. Across the country, there's been push at the federal level, state level, and local level for criminal justice reform, and a lot of that push for the reform has focused on bail reform. So what we've seen coming into 2018, coming out of 2017, was that the push for that and the movement in that direction has never been higher. And so far this year, looking at and doing the research for this report, the push for pretrial detention reform and bail reform has never been higher. So we may indeed see that 2017 was indeed the tipping point as we look forward.
David, can you give us an idea of what's going on as far as bail reform goes at the state level?
Well, yes, John. In the report, we note that there are more than 30 states right now where bail reform legislation is currently being considered, and basically in those states they're either seeking to reduce or do away with cash bail as a form of pretrial detention. In states like Indiana, Alaska, and New Mexico, there have been constitutional amendments, there have been laws that have been passed, or there have been rules that have been adopted that largely prevent the detention of individuals strictly because of the inability to post cash bail. And for those that are advocating these reforms, basically what their focus has been, as they've articulated it, has been looking at those who are charged with minor offenses and those people who are unlikely to present a great risk to the public, and whether there's fairness in detaining those people strictly because of their inability to post bail. In a state like New Jersey, for example, what we saw at the start of 2017, there was a change in the law that largely did away with cash bail. In New Jersey, it's basically looking at pretrial detention decisions based on an assessment made by a pretrial service agency, and those decisions really are based on factors, and some of them, empirical evidence that goes into factors that are largely believed to indicate whether individuals are either more likely to make their court trial date or commit a crime while they're out on bail. So again, there are different methods that are being considered, and that New Jersey, sort of that model, is very similar to what's being considered in a number of the different states that we talked about where bail reform legislation is currently being looked at seriously.
How are these efforts impacting premium levels?
Well, there was a definite impact on premium that we saw in 2017. For several years leading into 2017, both on a direct premium written basis before commission and brokerage expense, and also on a net premium written basis after those expenses, the bail industry had produced year-over-year growth in premium, but premiums declined modestly in 2017. And I think if we see that as sort of a harbinger of things to come, especially with 2018 now, with those 30 states, as I mentioned, looking at bail reform seriously, we could see that the magnitude of a decline in premium in 2018 and going forward could be much greater than the small, modest decline that we saw in 2017.
Are some companies more vulnerable to these reforms than others, do you think?
Well, definitely. As readers will be able to see in the report, we highlight a number of companies for whom bail bond insurance is 80%, 90%, even 100% of their premium revenue. So clearly, for those companies, bail reform, and especially in the states where they do away with bail as a form of pretrial detention, that will have a very significant impact on those companies. In particular, if those companies write their bail insurance in those states where the reforms are being passed.
You can find the full report online at ambest.com. For AM Best TV, I'm John Weber.